Hi, everybody. Welcome. I'm so glad you're here. The full moon. Nice to see you. There's so many people from everywhere here, and it's nice to realize, this is a group endeavor. And from London to Japan to Tulsa, Oklahoma, there's a lot of people representing here, we're holding our different lighthouses at different places where we are. So each one of us is in a little bit of a different place, and we have a different influence because of that placement that we are, that there's no accident that we're there, right? The place that you are is where you're supposed to be. And it's nice to remember that when you're going into group endeavor, world service meditation, any kind of spiritual work, that this is a one life. And I say that on this day of Aries full moon, right? So big, powerful rocket fuel full moon. And you can take advantage of that energy and use it in a conscious way and start to direct how you want things to move or what's important to you. The opposite sign is of Aries. The full moon's always in the opposite sign of the sun sign that we're in. So this is Libra time. So all you Libras out there, this is your birthday time. But boy, will this be an activated birthday for you, and especially if it's around now, because you're going to feel that fire to be able to bridge the energies that you're holding in yourself. You know how we're having that grand polarization in the world, right? That's happening. But we are energy bridges, right? And the way we activate our bridge is by love, right? So it's the love that can move through all the different problems that you can imagine that are happening. And I pulled a card for us just for this full moon, and it's one of the soul tree cards, connection. And I thought, oh, that's perfect. The two trees kind of growing together, right? We are a one life. And I've listened to NPR this morning, as I often do, and there was a little piece that I'm going to share actually right now. I'm going to introduce it though first. It's only less than 3 minutes, but I'm going to tell you just a little just so you can feel it because it jumps in really fast. But what it is it's a woman who goes to a prison to speak with the boy that killed her son. And then sort of what happens with her. So the boy was 15 when he died, and the other boy was 16 who killed him. So I'm just going to share this. It has to do, though, with this bridging that we're talking about, how love bridges. So here we go.
My name is Mary Johnson, and we're in Minneapolis, Minnesota.
That was 2011 when Mary sat down with O'Shea Israel. As a teenager, O'Shea got into a fight with Mary's son and killed him. After he served a prison sentence for murder, they had this conversation.
You and I met at Stillwater Prison. I wanted to know if you were in the same mindset of what I remember from court, where I wanted to go over and hurt you, but you were not that 16-year-old. You were a grown man. I shared with you about my son.
And he became human to me. When I met you, it was like, okay, this guy is real. And then when it was time to go, you broke down and started shedding tears. And the initial thing to do was just try to hold you up as best I can. Just hug you like I would my own mother.
And I began to say, I just hugged the man that murdered my son. And I instantly knew that all that anger and the animosity, all the stuff I had in my heart for 12 years for you, I knew it was over. That I had totally forgiven you.
As far as receiving forgiveness from you, sometimes I still don't know how to take it because I haven't totally forgiven myself yet. There's still a process that I'm going through.
I treat you as I would treat my son. And our relationship is beyond belief. We live next door to one another.
Yeah, we actually bump into each other all the time, leaving in and out of the house. And our conversations, they come from, boy, how come you ain't called over here to check on me in a couple of days? You ain't even asked me if I need my garbage to go out.
Uh-huh.
I find those things funny because it's a relationship with a mother for real.
Well, my natural son is no longer here. I didn't see him graduate. You know, you're going to college. I'll have the opportunity to see you graduate. I didn't see him get married. Hopefully one day I'll be able to experience that with you.
You still believe in me. And the fact that you can do it despite how much pain I cause you, it's amazing. I love you, lady.
I love you too, son.
Right. I've heard stories like this throughout my life and have kept them and remember them by heart because I know that we're capable of this. And I debated whether to even share this because it's so controversial, I think, in a certain way. For a lot of people, it would be hard to even imagine doing something like that. And the story actually, it's on NPR today. It's longer than that. It goes on about what happens after that because they come back and revisit her and him. And it gets even more amazing. But just as that starting place, that sort of shock of forgiveness, the shock of forgiveness. How do you forgive someone that killed your child? How do you do that? But we can, right? And you can hear in her voice, you know, this settledness, this closure even, and this man's needing to forgive himself, of course, which will be his whole life. And in a way, his courage to even remain knowing her, because every time he sees her, he would remember what he did. So talk about karma, right? They're like mother and son. So this is so powerful, and, you know, thank goodness not most people's normal, you know, to have to live through, but that's how radical forgiveness can be, that there's nothing that's unforgivable. And of course we would say, well, this would not be forgivable. But there is story after story of people that have and do, and I do, and we can. And even just hearing a story like that can be inspiring because I was talking about that bridge, right? The connection, that bridge between one another, with each other, is made of love. It's not a thought, it's a heart action. And so in this Aries energy, it's hot, it's opinionated, it's strong, it's on fire, you know. It is a fire sign. It is active action taking, right? But it's balanced with Libra, Aries Libra, right? The scales of finding the balance so that our action is conscientious, right? So it's not just any action, it's not random action. That would be unconscious Aries. It's action that's been conditioned by the opposite sign, Libra, which is about balance, right? So that's the energy we're using in a way and working with as you look through the lens of this full moon, which is Aries. You look through that lens and it has a color, it has a sound, it has a feeling, it has an energy, right? That we can use. And you might be wondering, you know, where in your life, you know, you might need to take action in a conscientious way, right? Even if you think of, I teach this principle a lot in my meditation classes, which is everything's okay when it's conscious. Everything. And so I give examples like to feel the difference between, in your body as I say this, to feel the difference between conscious anger, unconscious anger, right? Feel the difference between, these are hard things, right? These are horrible things, but obviously conscious love, unconscious love. Okay, but the negative emotion is interesting to think about because we go conscious jealousy versus unconscious jealousy, right? And so all of anything that you can think of, conscious motion in any way or unconscious motion in any way, they feel different, look different, and come out different and have a different effect. Conscious love, unconscious love. We can just accidentally be loving, but when we're consciously loving someone that's probably maybe not that lovable sometimes, right? And you love through that, that's conscious love. I am choosing to love anyway, right? And I don't need the other one to love me back. I love. So Aries Libra, it's about you, myself. Aries would be me, and Libra would be you, right? And it's the bridge between the me and the us. And so I love, we love. We build a matrix of energy that grows together and interweaves around the world by light, literally by light. We're light connected because we're light in form in the first place. And we interconnect that light. And by light and by intention, conscious intention, we radiate that light beyond ourselves and we help heal the world. The world needs healing desperately right now. There's so much tension and pain and contrast and everything that's happening that up from the most base thing of Mother Nature to the sophistication of politics, right? It's like it's everywhere. Even in spiritual groups, there's controversy, right? There's breaks and these divisions and all of that. And so consciousness is like a point of clarity. Consciousness is still. Consciousness is not reactive. It's responsive. And so we can decide consciously how we want to respond, not the reaction, the knee-jerk, the reflex, but the choice to be conscious in the moment of the pain, in the moment of the distress, in the moment of the confusion, in the moment of not knowing what to do, right? And still be consciously saying, conscious, I don't know what to do, is different than unconscious, I don't know what to do, right? So you can put any word in there, and it gets really interesting to think about, because from the conscious point of I don't know what to do, I can develop a plan for that, where if it's unconscious, I just don't know what to do. I don't know. There's this almost panic to it, right? And it becomes very dramatic. So consciousness gets quieter and more pulled in and more still. And when we meditate, we're building that, right? We're building our wattage of our ability to stand present to anything, even murder of your son. That's why that example is so striking, right? But there's many more. I have many stories like that, but this one just happened to be today. And I thought it was so powerful and just perfect for where we are and what we're trying to do, because it's important what's happening right now. And we have to midwife this baby together, right? It's not something that, we just go, do something else. We have to pay attention in a certain way, but not go into reaction. And so that's the beauty of a world service meditation, is it doesn't have an agenda. It's not going, oh, I'm for this person or for that person, or I want this to happen here. I want to create this in the world. I want to change the world this way. It should be like this. We're not putting a design on it, because thy will be done, right? It's bigger than us. But we can be the hands and feet and voice of the inspirations that come through the meditation that we get while we're in it. We get inspired into our lives, into our relationships, into our work, into our friendships, into the way that we interact with the world. And we can change the world from where we stand, right? This point right here, where I am, I can do something, right? And we can do something, because look at us, all of us. And that's just us here. There's a lot more of us around. They're everywhere. We are everywhere. Consciousness is everywhere. And consciousness calls forth consciousness, right? One of my teachers used to say that whenever you see a baby in a store, at a grocery store or something, and, you know, sitting on her mom's back or something, to look at them in their third eye, right? Because you're going consciousness to consciousness. You waken that soul. And there's teachings that say that even if you've had the most difficult beginnings, that it only takes one conscious person to recognize you, and that will change the whole arc of the life. One person seeing you, one person. So we can be that one person, and even in that little interaction with the baby that might not have that around itself, might have other things, but it doesn't have maybe that, right? You're saying, I see you, you know, and you can see it recognizing, you know, being seen in a way too. And I do that all the time, of course, because it's a wonderful practice. And it's got no agenda. It's not trying to make it be anything. It's just awakening the third eye by recognizing your own, first of all. And then by your own being there and open, in a sense, then there's kind of response to that. And babies are very sensitive to energy, of course, so they can feel it. So can dogs, so can horses, you know, so can everything respond to that. Often we'll touch animals here. You know, it's just a way to, and here, of course, on their heart, because that, of course, is very soothing to any animal, and we're animals. So we're animals and we're angels. We're both. So that's what I want to do in this particular full moon today, is just do a meditation of Aries passion, right? Passionate Aries. But think Libra, compassion, right? So it's like it softens it, see? So it's not just only what I want or what I see or what I want to do, or it becomes compassion with passion, though. And it starts to organize that passion into more intelligent design, how that moves through your life. And so when we're in the meditation, you might be wondering, because this is a lot about relationship, if you Libra Aries, relationship with yourself, the relationship with your world and your partner especially. This is a relationship moon. And, you know, who am I? Who are they? Who are we together? And also, I'll just say one astrological thing right now is that Venus is squaring Uranus, exact 22, I think it's Leo. Wait, I'm actually sure. I'll share that just for a moment so you can see it. So here's Venus in Leo. That's what, yeah. Venus in Leo squaring Uranus in Taurus. So a lot of push to shove kind of things here. A lot of growing things are happening with that aspect. This is a really big aspect. It's exact. What that does is it can squeeze truth out of the relationship. It can squeeze what it's supposed to be out. Now, this is the third time and the last time Venus is going to square Uranus for a very long time. So it's doing it right now. So, and it's done it 2 more times before this over the last year. So you might have been feeling in your relationships, could be a friend, could be a business partner, could be your partner, that there's a growing trying to happen. And it hasn't quite done it. You know, it's like almost, not quite. Now's your chance. Now's the time where that can actually click and be done. Like finish with that. Like it could be finished, where you really come either more apart because it's just not going to work, or you come the most together you've ever been. Like you get it. And so that relationship, so I'm talking about others, your partner or a business partner or something like that, but you could also call it the relationship between the soul and the self. right? That we're always trying to link up and have that relationship be stable. And it's Uranus, so it's radical also. It's intense, it's in Taurus, so it's an earth sign, so it means it's stiff, it needs to be kind of exploded by Aries, right? The stone of Taurus with the fire of Aries, like change. That is the energy of change. So you may be changing kind of radically. Your relationship might be changing radically. Your soul in you's relationship may be changing. So just be curious about what might be coming up for you as I'm saying all of these things, because everybody would be different answers about this. But your creativity, the way you're creating, could be changing, because the muse becomes the other, your muse, So we're going to take all this into the meditation and just let's see what comes up. But I'm calling it for right now anyway, radical forgiveness, radical compassion. Okay, the person that might be up for that radical forgiveness and radical compassion could very likely be you. So if that is what happens, let that be. So, connection. Here we go. So you can light a candle if you like, or just light one in your mind, or look at mine. This is whatever you want to do. And start to slow down. And just come into this moment. Yeah, you can look at mine as another way to do it. Becomes a practice in its own right of concentration. Candles, there it goes. And just get yourself comfortable where you are. Try to keep your spine straight if you can. Good. So what needs radical forgiveness? What needs radical compassion? That's a question. Who needs radical forgiveness? Who needs radical compassion? And just letting yourself bring that question right into the meditation. Just slide into the meditation with that question bright, like a little comet that's crossing the sky. And so as you breathe through your heart center, of course, for something like this, right? You breathe through the heart chakra, awakening it. Saying hello to your heart chakra. Maybe it's been a while. I have my hand on my heart chakra just to say I'm present. And be grateful that you have a heart chakra, that you even know what a heart chakra is. That having that big love, that spiritual love, is different than that personal, emotional love. It's universal love. And just breathing through the heart chakra, noticing any imagery that comes up as you do, the bloom of the heart. And taking some breath through the heart chakra until the body starts to finally relax and the emotions quieten. And eventually and finally, the mind begins to become still. And allow in this stillness to bloom into your awareness. Who do I need to forgive? Who do I need to offer compassion? Who do I need to radically forgive? Who do I need to radically have compassion for? Just offer it into the meditation like this beautiful question mark. It doesn't necessarily might not be what you think that would come up. Might surprise you who that one is. And please do not reject it if it's yourself, because it is us that most often needs to be forgiven if that work hasn't been done. It's important to do that work. Really important, because you can't forgive anyone until you can forgive yourself. Not really. And you certainly can't radically forgive if you haven't radically forgiven yourself, right? So if it's you, that's good. And if it's someone, notice that. Or it's some situation or something that you know of that you need to radically forgive or to hold radical compassion for. Let that one, or whatever that is that's coming up for you, let it come into your awareness up like a bloom. Now into your third eye. And just imagine breathing that being or that situation or that person or yourself, breathing them awake into your awareness. And the moment that you see it now, you can start working it by saying Ho'oponopono if you want to. I'm sorry, please forgive me, thank you, I love you. Right? That practice, so powerful. I'm sorry, please forgive me, thank you, I love you. And whoever that one is that's there, just watch them in a way, their soul self. It might not be in form any longer, this person that you chose. Doesn't matter. So here's how I want you to work this. In your meditation, you say this phrase inside yourself. These two phrases. I forgive myself for everything. I forgive everyone for everything. This is radical forgiveness. I forgive myself for everything. I forgive everyone for everything. Om. I forgive myself for everything. I forgive everyone for everything. And just run that energy now. Like you're recycling energy. Old to new, old to new, old to new. I forgive myself for everything. I forgive everyone for everything. Om. No exceptions. No exceptions. No exception. Watch this imagery of who you are thinking of change as you offer this prayer, this blessing, this gift. I forgive myself for everything. I forgive everyone for everything. Watch them change. Feel your own changing with this. In forgiveness, the gift is to ourself. It's to ourself that we get the gain, is don't have to harbor this ill will any longer. You can let it go. Knowing exactly conscious forgiveness is different than unconscious forgiveness. Conscious forgiveness. I forgive myself for everything. I forgive everyone for everything. And you make a clean slate, a new start, a new beginning, because you're not dragging the past behind you any longer. About any subject. You can do this with anyone, any situation. It is very Tonglen-like, this work. Now just see yourself in front of yourself. And feel the soul with you as you offer to yourself. I forgive myself for everything. And watch you. Watch you. I forgive myself for everything. I forgive everyone for everything. They go together. I forgive myself for everything. I forgive everyone for everything. Feel the light between the two. Make a connection like those two trees in the soul tree deck. Interlocking branches, interlocking roots. Right? Coming through and together. Connected together. We are a one life. If there was a full moon that knows about that, it's this one. We are all interconnected. And I forgive myself for everything. I forgive everyone for everything. And let your spirit renew you. So all the sludge of negative thoughts and heaviness of guilt for having hate or anger or, revenge. Right? Just let all of that fall away inside this meditation. I forgive everyone for everything. I forgive myself for everything. Let it all fall away so that it's like you're purified. So that sludgy, muddy energy just starts to disperse and become also light too. I forgive myself for everything. I forgive everyone for everything. Om. 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 Good, and then letting your breath get a little deeper and fuller. Until it starts to feel natural, you begin to transition out of this meditation. Isn't it interesting if you think about it, there's 12 full moons a year. You know which one you happen to be at. There's no accident there. It's all by soul design. Some of you come to every one and some are coming in and out. And it's perfect. It's perfect. Let it be perfect. Really good. This was kind of a strong meditation. I will be posting this tomorrow on YouTube, which you can watch again or listen to on SoundCloud. It'll be up there too, or the meditation part will be anyway, not the initial talk. But on YouTube, all of it's there. And if you're not already on my YouTube page, it's a good thing to get on. And if you subscribe and you hit the bell, they'll actually notify you when there's a new piece up there. So which there's always things going up there. So, but always the full moon does too. So it's nice so you can listen to it again, you know, or use these techniques and teachings in your real life so that you can take and do this meditation for somebody else, or teach it to someone else, or show it to someone else. There's a lot of forgiveness to be done these days of ourselves and others. So yeah, so I think that's a good place. And the next full moon is October 28th, which is a Saturday. So we'll be there for that. And the next meditation class will be October 13th, Friday, October 13th. So maybe I'll see you there. So thank you for being part of this, everybody. Really good work. Thanks for holding with me steady. That was hard and intense and important. And it's Aries full moon, so of course it is. Thank you.